Welcome everyone to the World Gymnastics Association Cash Cup 1, the first ever professional men's gymnastics competition. We received over 100 routines from 30 different gymnasts, and today we'll be looking at the highlights as the scores are announced live. Top 3 gymnasts on each event will be taking their share of a $10,000 prize pool. My name is Owen, and I am joined by Max, and we will be your hosts tonight. So Max, what are you excited for with this competition?
I'm excited to see some world-class gymnasts utilize this new rulebook using new skills and new combinations to see what they bring to this competition.
For sure. So let's talk about the schedule for tonight. The stream is expected to be about an hour long, and you won't want to miss a second of it. To decide the order of events, we will head over to the WGA Event Randomizer. So let's see what the gymnasts are up on first. That's going to be rings, and then P-bars, floor, high bar, vault, and pommel horse. That's rings, P-bars, floor, high bar, vault, and pommel horse. We're going to start right away with our first routine on rings. And up first, we have Alistair Houle from Australia.
A nice back upright straddle sit to start us off.
And watch this, there it is. That's the Olympic cross, also called the Azarian cross. Hasn't been performed in competition for decades, but he brings it back.
And a new combination there, Yonason, Yamawaki.
Yes, in the WGA, one skill is allowed to be repeated, and he makes good use of it. Not only that, but all of those 3 skills will get a connection bonus.
Building up to the dismount.
Double tuck full, small step back. Not a bad routine from Alistair Houle.
And it's a 13.3 to start us off for this competition from Alistair Houle on rings.
Great to see new skills being done, although a skill like that is not name awarded, as it's been done in competition a lot in the past. Here we have Ashton Kotler from Canada, Saskatchewan, known as the Push-Up King online. Let's see what he can do today.
Starting off with a Maltese, right into a cross, a great display of strength.
A little high on the Maltese, but it's not a huge problem. Yamawaki, Yonason, but he shows a little support, bends the legs and bends the arms. All of that will cost him tenths.
Back upright straddle planche, feet dipped a little low.
It looks like he's getting tired. A lot of arm bends here in the handstand. Double twisting, double tuck, big dismount, small hop to the side.
And an 11.8 for Ashton Kotler.
Yeah, he has a huge start value, but unfortunately all of those deductions will add up. Causes him to have a lower score. And here's Ian Gunther from Stanford, United States. Ian's gonna have a huge routine here. He's competing on most of the events. Could be expecting to win quite a few $1,000s here.
You got there starting off with a back of our eyes Maltese. A wonderful combination there. The Yamawaki into the laid out Hanma, swing to handstand.
Yes, he will be earning connection bonus for that. And ooh, I believe that was meant to be a back upright straight planche. Although looks like he couldn't quite get it under control. Not a deduction, although he will lose start value for that. There's the Yonason back upright handstand.
That was building up to the dismount.
Double out full and a stuck landing. That's a huge routine from Ian Gunther. He could definitely be expecting some prize money.
A 15.0 from Ian Gunther. That is a huge score on rings. It'll be tough to beat.
For sure, it'll be difficult for any other gymnast to challenge that.
Okay.
And up next, we have Jack Dompierre from Inspire Sports, Canada. the official sponsor of this event. Jack may not have the most difficult routine here, but you will see a unique dismount at the end called the Dampierre.
Starts off with the straight back lever. Not quite as difficult as some of the other strength holds we've seen.
Yeah, so though the straight levers have been upgraded, so that's a B there, and oh, a little low on that kip to L sit. Stuff like that is a deduction.
Nice. Come on.
And there it is, the new dismount, the Dampierre, the front layout half from support. And it's 11-4 for that routine from Jack Dampierre. Not a bad way to start off this competition.
Not a huge score, but he makes up for it with the originality, getting a new skill named after him. Here we have Jamil Ali from Canada.
Jamil trains in Canada, but he competes internationally for Trinidad and Tobago.
Starting off with another back lever, although this time it's a touch high. Probably a 1/10 deduction. And a huge Maltese there. Gets that one flat.
Front lever there, just a touch too high. We'll get deduction for that.
Yes, slightly hollowed. The front lever has been upgraded in the WGA. It's a C. Jamil is someone who's been reading the rulebook, so he knows how to optimize his scores. Double tuck full, small hop back once again. Not a bad routine overall.
It's a 13-3 for Jamil Ali. That is a good score so far in this rings competition.
Yes, certainly puts him up on the podium. We'll see if he can hold that position. And up next, we have Matthew Davies, also from Australia. You may recognize this ring set. Looks like quite a few of the boys from this gym decided to give the WGA Cash Cup a try.
And a kip to cross. A great show of strength right there.
Definitely, and watch this. He's going to do the same combination. Yonason, Yamawaki. Big start value there. Gets a connection bonus for connecting those skills.
Come on. Yeah, come on. Come on. Come on.
And a little bit of a fight for that handstand there.
Finishing off with a double tuck full, small hop back again. We're seeing a lot of landing deductions on these rings dismounts.
And a 13-4 for that rings routine. Pretty good score so far.
Yes, not bad at all. I believe that puts him a 10th above Jamil Ali. And up next, we have Misha Kudanov, two-time Olympian from New Zealand. Rings is not his strongest event, but nonetheless, we'll see an impressive routine from him.
Nice Yonason Yamawaki right there.
Shows a little bit of a support. You want to see the skill be fluid, not have slight pauses in there. So that will be a small deduction. But look at these arms throughout the routine, locked out on these front and back giants. That's exactly what you want.
And only a 10th hop on that dismount, a pretty solid landing.
Better than the other double tuck fulls we've seen so far.
And a 14-2 for Misha Kudanov. That ranks him very high in this rings competition so far.
Yes, a big score. He was very clean throughout that routine despite not having the highest difficulty. Up next, we have Owen Fielding from Twisters Gymnastics. Out of Canada, you'll see quite a few of the Twisters boys competing today.
Nice and fluid Jonas and Yamawaki right there.
Yes, Owen's great at swinging skills on rings. Beautiful front giant there. Slight arm bend. And coming up, he has a big dismount. Get ready for it.
And a perfectly stuck landing on the double layout full from Owen Fielding. And it's a 13-4 for Owen Fielding on that rings routine.
You may remember seeing a 13.4 earlier in the competition, so the tiebreaker rule for the WGA is whoever submitted their routine earlier. Up next, we have Quentin Foster on rings, also from Twister's Gymnastics. And you're going to see a unique dismount here called the Quinty.
Legs dropped a little too low in that front uprise. May not get credit.
For sure, and there's a back uprise L-sit. Arms bent a little bit. Coming into a shoulder stand. Here it is. Back straddle dismount, not bad from Quentin Foster.
It is an 11-2 for Quentin Foster with that rings routine.
Quite a lot of deductions in there, although he has a new skill nonetheless. Up next, we have Renee Cornier, Canadian Olympic gymnast, and we're going to see a huge routine here. Renee's recently faced an injury, although it seems that he's recovered here.
A great display of strength, going from the straight plunge, lowering right into the Maltese.
Back uprise inverted cross, another very difficult skill, although he's slightly high. That is a deduction.
Beautiful fluid Yamawaki into Yonason.
Yes, you want to see the swinging skills nice and fluid like that for no deduction. And remember, he's also getting a bonus for that skill.
The difference between some of these gymnasts on rings is those perfect handstands with no wobbles.
Yes, and the straight arms. And there's that double layout stuck landing. Not bad from Renee Cornier.
A wonderful routine there, scoring Renee a 14.9 on rings.
Yeah, huge score, but unfortunately that does put him slightly below Ian Gunther. We'll see if anyone can challenge those scores. Up next, we have Vitam Malik from Australia.
Yep. Good stuff, come on.
Jonas and Yamawaki connection right there.
Ooh, and bent arms on that straddle press to handstand may not count. Remember, we want to see straight arms in those skills, although then there's also some skills, such as the bent arm pike press, where the arms are allowed to bend. Double tuck full, small step back, not bad.
That routine will score Vitam Malik a 13-2 on rings.
Putting him a few tenths below others, but not bad overall. And that concludes the rings competition. Ian Gunther is going to walk away with $1,000, and that's just the start. We'll see more of him on other events. Renee Cornier with $400 and Misha Kudanov $265. A great display overall from these gymnasts. That concludes the first event. Up next, we have P-Bars. We'll be back soon after a short message from our sponsors. McIsaac & Company is the official law firm of the first WGA Cash Cup. If you are facing legal challenges, look no further than McIsaac & Company, your trusted law firm serving Western Canada. With numerous locations throughout British Columbia and online free consultations, McIsaac & Company conveniently serves you. With a proven track record of success, McIsaac & Company specializes in a broad range of legal fields, including personal injury law, human rights law, intimate image removal claims, and many more. Visit McIsaacandCompany.com for more information. Once again, that is McIsaacandCompany.com. Combat Sports Law is the leading resource for breaking news, insight, and expertise of combat sports legal developments. Covering mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, and all other combat sports regulated by state, provincial, and other athletic commissions, Combat Sports Law is your go-to news source, and the WGA would like to thank them for their support. Check out combatsportslaw.com for more. This competition is sponsored by Inspire Sports Victoria, Vancouver Island's largest gymnastics supercenter. Register now at inspiresportsvictoria.com. Once again, that's inspiresportsvictoria.com. Welcome back. We just finished the rings competition. We saw some incredible routines from some upcoming pro gymnasts. We're now moving on to P-bars, and you can expect the similar level of competition. Starting off with Ashton Kotler from Saskatchewan, we saw him on rings, although his score was lowered quite a lot from all his arm bends. Let's see if he can do better on P-bars.
Peach to handstand into giant to start off his routine.
Not bad at all. There's the stutz later in the routine. You're going to see a stutz to one bar, a very difficult and unique skill.
There's the stutz to one bar with a little leg separation, which will cost him.
Diamidov 1.5. Another small leg separation. Double pike dismount.
And it's a 14-2 for Ashton Kotler to start us off on this P-bar competition.
Making up for his rings routine where he scored a lot lower. A 14-2 is an impressive score. We'll see if that can keep him on the podium. Next up, we have Connor Fielding from Twisters Gymnastics. We saw a few of them on rings. Let's see what he can do on P-bars.
Excellent form on the Diamidov and Stutz.
Coming up into the dismount here, double tuck, he rotates so fast and he sticks that landing. A very clean routine from Connor Fielding.
And a 13 for Connor Fielding. A bit of a shorter routine than what we saw earlier from Ashton Kotler's, but not a bad score.
For sure, a lower difficulty, but he's very clean throughout that whole routine. We'll see if he can keep on the podium with that score. Well, up next, we have someone who's here to contest for the title. Here's Ian Gunther on P-bars. He took home $1,000 on rings. Can he do the same on P-bars?
In a difficult mount to start off, it's a free hip to handstand.
And here's a Makut's, another difficult skill. You're going to see hard skills throughout this entire routine, such as their Diamidov 1.5. We saw that from Ashton Kotler too.
A nice Hanma.
Yeah, Ian. Come on, Ian.
Teammates cheer on as he goes through this impressive routine. There's the Tapelt.
Come on, Ian. Let's go.
Beautiful Diamidov.
Unique dismount called a Roethlisberger, and he nails it. He's one of the only gymnasts in the world who does that skill.
And a 14-8 for Ian Gunther. A huge score on P-bars.
For sure, that's putting him in the lead so far. Could he be taking home several $1,000s throughout this competition, or will someone contest him? Here's Jamil Ali on P-bars. We saw him earlier on rings. What can he produce here?
And a new skill on P-bars, a straddle plunge.
And he's going to press right back up. A straddle plunge press to handstand. Jamil's an athlete who read the rulebook, so he knows all of these new skills. Coming into the dismount here, double tuck, and not a bad landing at all for Jamil Ali.
And it's a 13-2 for Jamil Ali on P-bars.
We've seen a lot of scores in the low 13s, so we may not be able to hold a position on the leaderboard, especially when we have incredible routines such as that from Ian Gunther. And speaking of which, here's Misha Kudanov, a two-time Olympian, and he specializes on P-bars. So let's see what he can perform. He could very well be taking home the title.
Another Hanma to start off the routine.
Misha's always struggled a little bit with that skill, but get ready. Here's Peach to one bar, and then he's going to do a Healy out. Gives some huge start value. Doing skills on one bar is a lot more difficult than two.
Wonderful Peach to handstand right there.
Giant Diamidov, that's a relatively new skill for Misha in this routine.
A little bit of leg separation to that stutz, and not quite to handstand.
Misha's one of the older gymnasts in his early 30s, yet despite that, he can still compete at an incredibly high level.
And a bigger step on that dismount. It will cost him. Although that step on the dismount, a 15-1 for Misha Kudanov. A huge score on P-bars.
Yes, the dismount did not matter because the rest of his routine was so clean and very difficult. That puts him into the lead so far, and I expect that he will remain there. Here is Ritam Malik from Australia. We saw him earlier on rings. Although P-bars is one of his better events, we'll see what he can do here.
Although that step on the dismount, a 15-1 for Misha Kudanov. A huge score on P-bars.
Yes, the dismount did not matter because the rest of his routine was so clean and very difficult.
Nice.
Just wonderful execution so far. Not much for the judges to take off.
Definitely Stutz a little short of handstand. Stuff like that is a deduction, and he's going to be building into the dismount here. Let's see what he can perform. Double tuck, hands down. How unfortunate. Falls like that cost a full point off the score.
And it's a 12-9 for Ritam Malik. Not a bad score with the fall on the dismount.
For sure, we'll see if he comes to regret that fall. We'll see what the other scores look like in this competition. Next up, we have Tristan Fast, also from Twister's Gymnastics. Tristan's also read the rulebook, so you can be expecting some unique routines from him.
A tuck sit to start it off. A new skill.
And a V-sit. There's the Peach to hang, and get ready for this combination. Reverse stutz, straddle cut, swing handstand, a lot of form deductions, but a very unique combination, cool to see.
It finishes off with a perfectly stuck front lateral full. A great way to end the routine. And it's a 12-1 for Tristan Fast on the P-bar routine.
Yes, the pro rulebook really allows gymnasts like him to excel with those unique combinations being rewarded. And that concludes P-bars. Misha Kudanov will walk away with $1,000 in first place, just about edging out Ian Gunther, who was 3/10 behind, who will be taking home $400. Ashton Kotler, $265. And an impressive performance from all the other gymnasts. Anyways, that concludes our second event. Next up, we'll have floor, where we can hopefully see even more impressive routines done. We'll be back after a short message from our sponsors. This competition is sponsored by Inspire Sports Victoria, Vancouver Island's largest gymnastics supercenter. Register now at inspiresportsvictoria.com. Once again, that's inspiresportsvictoria.com. McIsaac & Company is the official law firm of the first WGA Cash Cup. If you are facing legal challenges, look no further than McIsaac & Company, your trusted law firm serving Western Canada. With numerous locations throughout British Columbia and online free consultations, McIsaac & Company conveniently serves you. With a proven track record of success, McIsaac & Company specializes in a broad range of legal fields, including personal injury law, human rights law, intimate image removal claims, and many more. Visit McIsaacandCompany.com for more information. Combat Sports Law is the leading resource for breaking news, insight, and expertise of combat sports legal developments. Covering mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, and all other combat sports regulated by state, provincial, and other athletic commissions, Combat Sports Law is your go-to news source, and the WGA would like to thank them for their support. Check out combatsportslaw.com for more. Welcome back to the Cash Cup number 1. We just finished on the parallel bars, and up next we have floor. Hopefully we can see more impressive routines. Up first we have Cole Solomons from Inspire Sports Victoria, Canada, the official sponsor of this event.
Starting us off with a new skill, the Biz Grove 2, a front straddle hat.
And up next he's going to have another new skill. Watch this. The Bizgrove 1, a front straddle flip, a little leg bend, but he manages to stick it. Keeping clean will certainly help him in this competition.
A nice V-sit from Cole Solomons. Non-acrobatic skills are not required in the WGA. Some athletes still do them.
Another Bizgrove 2, a nice front straddle half from Cole, and watch this, he has a third skill, 3 new skills in one routine. There's the Bizgrove 3, a back straddle, a few hops back on the landing. Very impressive, 3 new skills in one routine.
And it's a 12.2 for Cole Solomons. Not a bad score to start off this floor competition.
Not the most difficult routine, but he makes up for it in creativity. Those 3 skills will be around forever. We have another athlete from Inspire Sports, Gage Riley, on floor. Let's see what he can produce.
Nice.
Uses that Bizgrove 2, Cole Solomons' new skill that we just saw in the last routine.
And there's a front handspring, front 1.5. And he has another big skill coming up. Watch this, a double back tuck.
Nice, come on.
A nice display of artistry and side aerial into a back handspring into front support.
And there's the splits a touch high that will cost him 1/10 of a point in deductions. Coming up into his next line here, he's going to make use of the WGA's new repetition rules. Handspring front layout full. We saw him connect that front full earlier in the routine into a Bizgrove 2.
Come on, finish up.
And finishes with a back double twist, chest a little low on the landing. It will cost him. But a 12-3 for Gage Riley.
That puts him ahead of Cole Solomons, a good score. Up next, we have a third athlete from Inspire Sports, Jack Dompierre, on the floor.
Starts off with a tuck full punch front layout half, which he won't get connection bonus for.
Yeah, skills need to be at least a C plus a C on floor to get a 10th in connection bonus. That front tuck full is a B, and the front layout half is also a B. A beautiful back layout full, stuck landing from Jack Dompierre.
Again, you see Jack Dompierre utilizing that
Let's
new
go, Jack.
repetition rule where you can do 2 of the same skill per routine.
Ooh, low on that double twist. A lot of steps forwards. That's going to cost him.
11.0 for Jack Dompierre.
Quite unfortunate. He does have a good difficulty, but he loses a lot of points with those deductions. Up next, we have Jamil Ali. We saw him on P-bars and rings. This is the third routine from him so far. And he's going to open up with a big skill here. Watch this double front tuck. Ooh, a little low on the landing and steps forwards.
Good stuff, come on. Nice.
And watch this, an impressive feat of strength here, a straight planche. We saw him do a beautiful Maltese earlier on rings.
Okay, Judy.
And another planche here, but this time in the straddle position.
Yes, he may have done another straight planche, although unfortunately non-acrobatic skills cannot be repeated on floor. Under-rotated on that 1.5. Let's see what he can do for the dismount.
Nice, Judy.
And a solid landing to finish off that routine. An 11.9 for Jamil Ali on floor. Not a bad score.
For sure, unfortunately, a few of the landings costed him, but he had a huge difficulty, and we saw him make use of the new rules.
Ready.
Up next, Misha Kudanov. We saw him on P-bars earlier. Can he take home even more money on floor? Not his best apparatus, but he can still do an impressive routine.
And a huge opening line, the front layout into front double tuck.
Whip back 2.5. An impressive line from Misha Kudanov. 2 good lines to start off. He's going to do a Japanese press to handstand here. That's what it's called when the arms are wide like that. He's been working on getting his head lower to the floor, because if you're too high, it is a deduction. And I would say he's been successful in that venture.
And one of the more challenging side passes, the back 1.5 into a front layout full.
For sure. Building into a quiet sideline here, round off back layout. And it looks like a kid may be in the way of his dismount. You can hear him saying, "Watch out there." A double twist dismount with a small hop forwards. Not a bad routine from Misha Kudanov.
And a 12.8 for Misha Kudanov, the highest floor score we've seen so far in this competition.
Could Misha Kudanov be walking away with $2,000 in prize money in just the first 3 events? We'll have to keep watching to find out. And next up on floor, we have Quentin Foster, the inventor of the Quinty, as we saw earlier on rings.
Starts off with the front layout full.
He's going to make use of a lot of front tumbling in this routine. There's the front layout half.
Nice.
Small steps backwards, although sometimes doing the simpler skills and keeping clean can be a good strategy for a high score. A good display of balance there from Quentin Foster.
Let's go.
Building into his last line here. Let's see what he can do.
In the stuck back layout to end off the routine. An 11-8 for Quentin Foster.
Certainly not a bad score. He may have had an easy routine, but he managed to keep clean. And up next, we have Tristan Fast on floor. Tristan, someone who's read the rulebooks, you can expect a unique routine. Let's see what he can do. Handspring into a fly spring. Small step forwards, that will be a deduction.
A nice V-sit there.
We saw him do that V-sit earlier on P-bars. A very flexible gymnast, as you see there in the splits. Coming up into another line here, watch this. Front aerial, although he does take a step back. And there's the Y scale with no hand, a very difficult skill, although he doesn't manage to get his leg up quite high enough. Building to the dismount, round off back handspring, back layout. A nice clean routine from Tristan Fast.
Yes, and that routine will score him a 12-4 on floor.
That's the second highest score we've seen so far. An impressive feat from Tristan Fast. And it looks like that concludes the competition on floor. Let's see what the leaderboard looks like. In first place, we have Misha Kudanov taking home $1,000. Second place, Tristan Fast, $400. And in third, Gage Riley, $265. And Spire Sports taking home a part of the prize pool there. And good scores from the rest of the gymnasts, with Cole Solomons in fourth. That concludes our third event, floor. Next up, we have high bar. We will be back after the break. McIsaac & Company is the official law firm of the first WGA Cash Cup. If you are facing legal challenges, look no further than McIsaac & Company, your trusted law firm serving Western Canada. With numerous locations throughout British Columbia and online free consultations, McIsaac & Company conveniently serves you. With a proven track record of success, McIsaac & Company specializes in a broad range of legal fields, including personal injury law, human rights law, intimate image removal claims, and many more. Visit McIsaacandCompany.com for more information. Once again, that is McIsaacandCompany.com. Combat Sports Law is the leading resource for breaking news, insight, and expertise of combat sports legal developments. Covering mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, and all other combat sports regulated by state, provincial, and other athletic commissions, Combat Sports Law is your go-to news source, and the WGA would like to thank them for their support. Check out combatsportslaw.com for more. This competition is sponsored by Inspire Sports Victoria, Vancouver Island's largest gymnastics supercenter. Register now at inspiresportsvictoria.com. Once again, that's inspiresportsvictoria.com. Welcome back. We just finished the floor competition where we saw Misha Kudanov take home another $1,000. Our next event is high bar, where we only have 4 gymnasts competing, although nonetheless we have some incredible routines coming up. And here's an example of one. Here's Ian Gunther on high bar.
Come on, Ian.
And then a unique first combination for Ian Gunther.
For sure, it's called a Shao Rusi. He's one of the only gymnasts in the world to do that skill. And a big connection coming up. Layout to Tkachev, straddle to Tkachev. I believe he'll do one more here too. Yep, here it comes. Pike to Tkachev. Great release moves from Ian Gunther.
And a wonderful stoop right to handstand.
Yes, and he connects that into an endo and eagle grip. That connection will earn him a bonus. Building into the dismount, double out full, has to pike it down a little bit, but a good routine from Ian Gunther. Let's see what he scores.
A 13-8 to start off this high bar competition. A good score for Ian Gunther.
Definitely, that will be a tough one to challenge. But we have impressive gymnasts to come, so we will see. And here is Jack Dompierre from Inspire Sports.
Some unique gymnastics in this routine.
Definitely, he connects that half turn and that free hip. And he's going to go into a dismount here. Watch this, double back tuck. Small step back, simple and clean from Jack Dompierre. That will score well.
A 12-1 for Jack Dompierre on that high bar routine.
Good score for sure, but we'll see if he can hold that position when he's competing up against some incredible gymnasts to come. Speaking of which, here's Misha Kudanov on high bar. His best events are P-bar's high bar, as we saw earlier, although he also managed to pick up $1,000 on floor. Can he win even more money here?
Some big releases we're about to see. Misha Kudanov starts off with a peg in the double tuck front half over the bar.
And he's not done yet. Here's a Coleman. Oh, small leg separation. But when you're doing skills this difficult, it's all worth it. Pike to Tkachev. And here's a straddle to Tkachev. Catches them perfectly, nice and stretched out.
Wonderful form on these elements.
Yes, he's been working on keeping his legs straight in his high bar routines. Let's see what he can do for the dismount.
A big double out full for the dismount. That high bar routine will score him a 13-6.
A good score for Misha Kudanov, although he is slightly below Ian Gunther. We have one gymnast left in this high bar competition, and it will be a huge routine. Here it is, Rene Cornier, Canadian Olympic gymnast. We saw him earlier on rings, where he won quite a lot of money. Here is his high bar routine.
Let's go, Red.
Starting off with a big combination, stoop half right into a layout to Tkachev.
And watch this, he's not done with his connection. Straddle to Tkachev into pike to Tkachev, and he does that beautifully. Almost no deductions there.
And here with another stoop, this time a full turn into handstand.
And he's not done Yamawaki, and he lays that out perfectly. A lot of gymnasts pike their body in the Yamawaki, and that can lead to a lot of deductions, but not Rene.
Let's go. Envers, allez.
Winding up for the dismount now.
Double twisting, double layout. Oh, and a big step forwards. But that's a huge dismount and a huge routine from Renee. Let's see what he scores.
And a 14-8 for Rene Cornier, a huge high bar routine.
That puts him a full point ahead of the rest of the competition. And with that, high bar is wrapped up. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Rene Cornier in first, winning $1,000. Ian Gunther second, $400. Misha Kudanov in third, $265. All three of those gymnasts on the top of the leaderboard have made quite a lot of prize money so far. And not a bad routine from Jack Dompierre, too. That concludes our fourth event. We saw some great routines from impressive gymnasts. Coming up next, we have vault. We'll be back after the break. This competition is sponsored by Inspire Sports Victoria, Vancouver Island's largest gymnastics supercenter. Register now at inspiresportsvictoria.com. Once again, that's inspiresportsvictoria.com. McIsaac & Company is the official law firm of the first WGA Cash Cup. If you are facing legal challenges, look no further than McIsaac & Company, your trusted law firm serving Western Canada. With numerous locations throughout British Columbia and online free consultations, McIsaac & Company conveniently serves you. With a proven track record of success, McIsaac & Company specializes in a broad range of legal fields, including personal injury law, human rights law, intimate image removal claims, and many more. Visit McIsaacandCompany.com for more information. Once again, that is McIsaacandCompany.com. Combat Sports Law is the leading resource for breaking news, insight, and expertise of combat sports legal developments. Covering mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, and all other combat sports regulated by state, provincial, and other athletic commissions, Combat Sports Law is your go-to news source, and the WGA would like to thank them for their support. Check out combatsportslaw.com for more. Welcome back. We just finished on high bar, where we saw some impressive routines done, and up next we have vault. We have some more great routines coming, so stay tuned. Starting off with George Honer from Great Britain. Preparing for his vault, here he goes.
A Kazumatsu with a full twist. Scored a 15-1 with that vault.
Yes, a Suk double twist, also called a Kazumatsu full. We'll see quite a lot of vaults like that in this competition. Up next, we have Ian Gunther from the United States.
The same vault, but there, a perfectly stuck landing. Very rare on vault. There he scored a 15-4, starting out of a 15-8.
Yes, and remember that these vaults, when you stick them, you get a point bonus. Or for some of the more difficult vaults, you can even get up to a 0.2 bonus. Up next, we once again have Misha Kudanov. Could he add to his already impressive amount of money earned in this Cash Cup?
Misha Kudanov with the Yurchenko double twist.
A unique entry. We don't see many male gymnasts doing Yurchenkos.
And scoring a 14-7.
A great score from Misha Kudanov, although unfortunately it can be hard to compete with some of the beautiful vaults we saw earlier, like the stuck one from Ian Gunther. And next up we have Quentin Foster from Twisters Gymnastics. Let's see what he can do. Suk layout, a little piked there.
That vault there will score him a 12-9 on vault.
Not a bad vault for Quentin. Coming up, we have some incredible vaults. Get ready for these last two. Here we have Rene Cornier. We saw him earlier. He's already won a lot of money. Can he add even more to that? Get ready for this.
Nice.
A huge vault, a front handspring double front.
Called a Roche. An impressive vault from him for sure.
And a 15.5, a huge score from Rene Cornier.
That's going to be putting him into the lead, the highest score we've seen so far. But the competition is not over, because here is Wade Nelson.
A big vault coming up. A Kazumatsu with a 1.5 twist. A 15.6 for Wade Nelson, putting him into first place.
Yes, and that is the last vault we have. We will see the leaderboard in just a moment here. Here it comes. Wade Nelson manages to win. Vault is his best event. And he manages to go home with $1,000. Renee and Ian Gunther adding to their already impressive prize pool, coming home with $400 and $265. And good results from the rest of the field. George Honer 15.1 and Misha Kudanov 14.7. And that concludes the fifth event. We saw some incredible vaults, and up next is our last event, and the most contested of them all. Stay tuned for Pommel Horse. McIsaac & Company is the official law firm of the first WGA Cash Cup. If you are facing legal challenges, look no further than McIsaac & Company, your trusted law firm serving Western Canada. With numerous locations throughout British Columbia and online free consultations, McIsaac & Company conveniently serves you. With a proven track record of success, McIsaac & Company specializes in a broad range of legal fields, including personal injury law, human rights law, intimate image removal claims, and many more. Visit McIsaacandCompany.com for more information. Once again, that is McIsaacandCompany.com. Combat Sports Law is the leading resource for breaking news, insight, and expertise of combat sports legal developments. Covering mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, and all other combat sports regulated by state, provincial, and other athletic commissions, Combat Sports Law is your go-to news source, and the WGA would like to thank them for their support. Check out combatsportslaw.com for more. This competition is sponsored by Inspire Sports Victoria, Vancouver Island's largest gymnastics supercenter. Register now at inspiresportsvictoria.com. Once again, that's inspiresportsvictoria.com. Welcome back. We just finished the fifth event vault. We saw Wade Nelson take home $1,000. Impressive that he could beat out the competition considering his age. We have the most contested event of them all coming up, Pommel Horse. We have a full 16 submissions. Get ready for this world-class display of gymnastics. Up first, we have Alec Aikida, once again from Twisters Gymnastics.
Some impressive one-handle work.
Something you'll notice about Alec is that his form is near perfect. Magyar Savaro in the WGA, there is no skew deductions for Magyar Savaro. It allows gymnasts to be a lot cleaner.
And a 14.3 for Alec Aikida. A good score to start off this Pommel competition.
Only a few tenths and deductions there. Impressive score. We'll see his brother later in the competition, Ethan Aikida, also incredible on Pommel Horse. Here's Alexander Yolshina Cash, A world-class gymnast on pommel horse despite being only a junior.
Beautiful work on one handle, a triple Russian.
Some of the world's best struggle with that. He can do that no problem. And there's two more flops on one handle. That full turn on one arm, another beautiful skill. We'll see more of those to come on pommel horse.
And a wonderful dismount to finish off that routine.
He takes a hop on the landing. That's 1/10 there taken away.
15-8 for Alex Cash, a huge score on pommel horse.
That will be very difficult to challenge, although keep in mind we do have world champion Steven Nedorosik coming up. Anyways, next up we have Alistair Houle. We saw him earlier on rings where he competed in a Zarian cross, also called an Olympic cross, for the first time in competition in several decades. Let's see if he can keep an impressive pommel routine.
Go. On. Nice. Come on. Come
Ooh, a
on.
little bit of leg separation on that one handle work.
Nice.
Yes, and he's another one who's read the rule book. There you see flare
stuff
over the
out.
top
Come
of
on now.
one handle. Struggles a little bit to get up in the Magyar, but it's not a huge problem. Working
Yeah.
into the Savato, let's see what he can do for the dismount. 1.5 Russian, not bad work from Alistair Houle.
A 13 for Alistair Houle on pommel.
A good score, but it'll be difficult to contend for the top when we have such incredible gymnasts working on pommel horse here tonight. And here is Ashton Kotler on the pommel horse. And two loud neck pops there before his routine.
Starts off with the scissor half into the handles. A little bit of a struggle to get into a circle.
Pommel is not his strongest event. He's a very strong gymnast, so we see good work from him on events like rings and pivots. Here he's going to build into the Magyar Savato, a very common combination. You'll see a lot of gymnasts do these skills. Especially in the WGA, it's a lot more worth it considering certain deductions like skewing, which means your shoulders facing sideways, have been removed. And he floats up to handstand in that dismount.
A 13-5 for Ashton Kotler. An impressive score on pommel horse, but the pommel competition is very tough.
Yes, we'll see who's up next. Here is Ethan Aikita. We saw his younger brother Alec Aikita earlier on. Pommel horse is his strongest event. We'll see what he can produce.
Some more beautiful one-handle work.
Yes, doing two flops there. And remember, you can repeat a skill once, so both of those flops count towards his start value. Into the Magyar Savato, he does it perfectly. Cannot find a single deduction up into the dismount. Oh, and a little short of handstand there, but not a big problem. A beautiful routine overall.
A 14-8 for Ethan Aikita, a huge score on pommel horse.
Certainly, that's one of the highest scores we've seen so far.
Ian Gunther.
It looks like his teammate did the announcing for me there.
Come on, Ian.
Here's Ian Gunther up on pommel horse. We saw him earlier. Can he add even more money that he will be taking home tonight?
Let's go. Let it swing.
Some nice scissor work, a scissor half right to handstand.
And there's that full turn on one hand again. Very difficult skill. That's an F in the WGA code, meaning that he gets 6/10 of a point for it.
A little bit of struggle on that flop.
We've seen
Keep
a
it
lot of
swinging,
gymnasts
let's
bend
go.
their legs and those Russians there. There's the Savado coming up into the dismount here. He floats up to handstand. Little pause there, but a great routine from Ian Gunther,
And that routine will score Ian Gunther a 14.6.
putting him slightly below Ethan Aikida. And Alexander Cash is still leading with an incredible score. Now here is Jack Dompierre from Inspire Sports. Let's see what he can produce.
Utilizing the new repetition rule, doing 2 check airs in a row.
And he even gets a 10th bonus for connecting them. Simple, clean routine from Jack Dompierre.
And that routine will score Jack Dompierre a 12.3 on Pommel Horse.
Coming up next, Jonathan Coe, also from Twister's Gymnastics. We've seen some incredible pommel work from this gym. What will Jonathan be able to do? Starts with a scissor.
Manages to stay on the one handle there.
Teammates cheering him on. He has some leg bends here and there that will add up. Oh, and it looks like his wrist guard came undone there. That's unfortunate for Jonathan Coe.
Still manages to get away with the 13-1 on Pommel Horse. Not too bad of a score.
Makes you wonder, could it have been higher if his wrist guard did not come undone? Perhaps he had a press to handstand dismount planned. Here's Lachlan Ferrado from Australia. Pommel Horse is his best event. Let's see what he can do.
A little bit of leg separation on the one handle Russian.
Same as we saw from other gymnasts, those Russians on one handle have given them trouble. We're seeing some beautiful travels from him here. Magyar Sabato, he chooses not to step up onto the handles in his travels. And a flank to finish off. Good routine from Lachie Ferrado.
A 13-8 for that Pommel Horse routine.
It's one of the highest scores we've seen so far, but can he hold that position? You will find out as the routines keep rolling in. And here is Max Houston Gates, once again from Inspire Sports, the official sponsor of this broadcast. Max is a unique dismount coming up. You will see it at the end. Starts the scissor half, a very common mount. Hits the handles, that will be a slight deduction. A check, straight into another check using the repetition rule. Here it comes.
And a new dismount, a pike press to handstand, also known as the Xander. And that Pommel Horse routine will score Max Gates an 11.6.
Not the highest score we've seen so far, but he still manages to get a new skill named after him, the Xander, a pike press to handstand from side support. Up next, we have Misha Kudanov. We've seen a lot of him in this competition. He competed all 6 events. Will he be able to add more prize money to his total? Pommel Horse isn't his strongest event, but we'll see.
A little bit of leg separation on that Magyar.
There's the check. Oh, and the legs come apart. Can he keep it together for the dismount here? Press to handstand, full turn. Not a bad routine for Misha Kudanov. Let's see what that scores.
A 12.9 for Misha Kudanov.
A good score, but it's very difficult to compete when you have such high caliber gymnasts. And coming up next, we have Rene Cornier, Canadian Olympian. We've seen quite a few routines from him. Once again, Pommel is not his strongest event, but you're going to see that he makes good use of the scissor skills here at the start of his routine.
Beautiful scissor half to handstand to start.
Connects into another scissor.
Nice, Eddie.
One thing that is good about Rene's Pommel is he
Nice.
manages to keep his legs together
Let's go,
for
Ren.
almost the entire routine.
Garde l'appui, t'es bon, allez. Vas-y.
Beautiful Roth into triple Russian.
Allez.
Building up into the
Monte dessus,
dismount
let's go,
here.
monte.
Oh, it's a
Go.
struggle. And he unfortunately falls off to the side. Not a huge deduction, but he will lose a bit of start value there.
Still, Rene Cornier scoring a 13-8 on Pommel Horse, one of the highest scores we've seen so far.
Yes, will he manage to be on the podium? We'll find out. Up next, we have Vitam Malik. And you're going to see Pommel Horse is one of his best events. We saw him on P-bars and rings, but Pommel is where he really excels.
A wonderful sewn to start off the routine.
Watch his beautiful lines. He managed to keep his body straight the whole time, and toe point is perfect. Oh, but a little bit of deductions there in that half Russian on one handle.
Oh, and a little bit of struggle on that dismount, but manages to get it up, scoring him a 14-8 on Pommel Horse.
Something that I'm noticing in a lot of these Pommel routines is that half Russian on one handle may not always be worth it, especially in the WGA, when there's a lot of other options you have to build your routine. And up next, we have a world-class routine. This is Steven Nedorazic, 2021 world champion on Pommel Horse. And here he's going to compete one of the most difficult routines ever. Get ready, scissor with a full travel into a Buznari, and watch, he floats up to handstand there.
And an effortless sewn, full turn on one hand.
And he combines that with the Bazugo, full turn on the other arm. Doing flops on one pommel here, building into his travels. A little struggle there.
Magyar into Savano.
Up into the dismount. Slight pause. A good handstand press with a full turn.
And a 16-4 for Steven Nedorazic. A massive score on Pommel Horse.
That's the highest score that we've seen in the entire competition on all events. Shows you how incredible he really is on this event. But we're not done. We have Zachary Clay, another incredible Pommel Horse worker. Can he manage to get into the top 3? Also from Twisters Gymnastics.
Zachary Clay placed 11th at the 2022 Worlds, but can he match up against world champion Steven Nedorazic?
We'll have to find out. He goes into these flop skills nice. And here the Russians on one pommel. He manages to keep his legs together there. And a full spindle on the end. That's a very unique skill.
Another Magyar Savano.
Building into the dismount. Press the hands in with a full turn. A incredible routine from Zach Clay.
And a 15-6 for Zachary Clay. Can't quite match Steven Nedorazic.
But an incredible score nonetheless. His form is immaculate. Very difficult to find deductions in that routine. And that concludes our final event. Over to the leaderboard. So, A huge leaderboard there. You see we have 16 different athletes. Steven Ederazic in first place with $1,000. Alexander Yolshina Cash, $400. Remember, he's still very young. Could we see him rival Steven Ederazic in the future? I think it's a possibility. Zach Clay in third, $265. And great scores from gymnasts all the way down the leaderboard. And that concludes the first ever WGA Cash Cup. Congratulations to all the gymnasts that won prize money. Prize money will be transferred within 24 hours, although remember that PayPal does hold the money for a certain amount of time, depending on how new your account is. Although you will be able to see the payment as pending, so you can be assured that the money is on its way. Remember that full leaderboards will be posted on our website on the results page within an hour. And don't think that the WGA is done yet. We are only getting started. Stay tuned for more upcoming WGA features and cash cups. Before we end, the WGA would once again like to thank our sponsors for this event, Inspire Sports Victoria, Combat Sports Law, and McIsaac & Company for making this competition possible. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. We have been your hosts, and thank you everyone for watching.